In my experience, I don't know a whole lot of languages. I've looked a little bit at this language and that language, and I do speak Spanish. I think decently well, although I haven't spoken in a while. But what I do know is that English it doesn't have a phonetic script. Okay, and it seems to me that languages that do have a phonetic script, there's this stronger connection between the visual symbol, the letter or character in Japanese, Chinese, whatever, and the sounds. And that sort of reinforces, and I guess you could say it ties the sound into a particular gravity, if that makes sense. And of course, there's exceptions and weird things that can happen. Like I know in Spanish, for example, un par, you can say un par with an M sound instead of an N because the N and M sound similar, and the P is right there where the M is. And we do the same thing in English. So even though Spanish has a phonetic script, you can get little things like this because of proximity. But I think in English, because the script is not phonetic, there is so much more possibility for variation. And especially because we have reductions, right? In a language like Spanish, there are no reductions. What you see is what you get. If it's an A, it's A. It's never going to be a. It's never going to be whatever else. It's going to be a, okay? But in English, we have reductions everywhere, and we have multiple kinds of reductions. For example, when we say words that start with E, or like they have the E vowel sound in the first syllable, like destroy or believe, pretend, right? The full enunciated pronunciation for these words is with an E. You won't usually hear them that way because we don't usually fully pronounce or enunciate them. But it's destroy, believe, pretend, okay? The stress is on the second syllable. When that first syllable is not stressed and it has that E sound in it, what very commonly happens, probably all the time, I don't know, English is crazy, you can reduce it to E, the second vowel, right? So it'd be destroy, believe, pretend, or you can reduce it to a schwa. You could say destroy, believe, pretend. There's sometimes more than one possible reduction. And with speed, things can get very, very crazy. So if I say, who in the world that be? What we can do here, for example, the N and the TH can combine. They often do in the, not in the. And then the D on world, the D on could, the T on that can all disappear. World could that. World could that be? World could that be? But there's variation. There's supposed to be glottal stops here. So you could say world could that be, or add one of the glottal stops or not add one of them. There's, anything that could possibly be omitted, it could always be there. Just like you often reduces to ya, but it can be you. It might happen to come out that way even without special emphasis. And so there's so much possible variation in just one English sentence that, right, even if we're just talking about basic sounds, things can change. If you talk about connected speech, if we look at the word interesting, this is kind of a freak of words, a special case, but you can say interesting. You can say interesting with ter. You can say interesting, drop the T. There's a reason for that. There's a rule for that. Interesting. And so there's actually a couple different things that can happen in this word for various reasons, different rules that can potentially apply. And we get this sort of freak case where there's three possible pronunciations and all of them are perfectly fine. So you as an English learner, you go and you start listening to English and you're trying to understand things, and say you learned the pronunciation interesting, but then you hear someone say interesting and you don't even notice the word. So there's all kinds of crazy things like that that can happen with speed, with reductions.